I don't know how to review this movie. I've never seen anything like this. This was an experience. This wasn't a movie. Yes, it is 4 hours long. Now, for okay, all right. Let's just get into it. Might as well, right? Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is going to be. I'm going to do my best to keep it spoiler free. It's 4 hours long. There have been some people that have said that 4 hours is too long. We asked for this. We asked for the Snyder Cut. And it's very much a director cut. Whenever you get a director cut, it's going to be a longer version of the movie that may have some pacing issues. Could the movie have been tightened up a little bit if they were to try to release this in the theaters? Yeah, I definitely think had Warner Brothers not messed around with Zack Snyder, he could have released a 3.5 hour cut of this in the theaters, and it would have been totally watchable because these 4 hours, it's broken into 7 parts, well, 6 parts plus an epilogue. You don't really feel the time. I looked at the clock whenever we got to chapter 6, and we had been watching the movie for 3 hours. And it didn't feel like 3 hours had gone by. I'm blown away by this movie. Every review that you've seen where they talk about it being epic in scale, I don't think that does it justice. The bones of the movie are the same as what came out in 2017, but this is just so much more. There's so much more depth. It is so enriched. The world feels alive and lived in, and you care about every single one of the characters, even the side characters. And Barry Allen, he wasn't he was still the comedic relief for this movie, but he had a more like giddy kiddish vibe to him, and he had a really great moment towards the climax of the movie where it's focused specifically on him and what he has to do. Everything was so well done. I can't wait to watch this again. I can't review this movie like I can review a normal movie. I feel like I'm gushing. They have to restore the Snyderverse. That's if you haven't heard of that, that's the movement that is following release the Snyder Cut. This movie leaves off on a cliffhanger. It's not a giant cliffhanger. I thought it was something big was going to happen, and then bam, we were going to cut the black, and that was going to be the end of the movie. That's not what happened. It is a cliffhanger. There's more to the story to tell, but it wasn't just a massive edge of your seat. Oh my God, how can you do this to us? What happens next? It's more like, I need to see what happens next. I need to know where this story goes. And they really explore the nightmare visions that Bruce had in Batman v Superman. And he has some very vivid nightmares. And the scene with Jared Leto as the Joker, that's the scene where Batman drops the F-bomb. It's a thing of beauty. Oh, God, they have to. This can't be it. This can't be it. There has to be more to it. I'm sorry. I know I'm rambling. The pacing of the movie is pretty good. I do want to say that during a couple of the, like I said, it's broken up into the 7 different chapters. During a couple of the chapters, the pacing does slow down quite considerably. And it definitely slows down more whenever there are scenes between Lois and Martha. Something else I want to make sure I hit on, because I do have a couple notes here. I'm just going off my head, but I do have a couple notes for some things that I wanted to talk about with this movie that I didn't cover in what is the Snyder Cut. This movie is presented in a 4:3 aspect ratio, which is the square. Kind of like if you're watching an old TV show that wasn't in HD and you get the square and you have the boxes on the side instead of being at the top and the bottom. This movie is in that 4:3 aspect ratio. It's in that aspect ratio because Zack Snyder shot this with IMAX cinema in mind. If he was to present this in the traditional widescreen format, he'd have to actually crop off part of the top and the bottom of what he filmed. So whenever you watch this and there's the black bars on the side, it's showing you everything that was filmed. You adjust to it pretty quick. And something else that I definitely want to hit on, you could tell that this movie was a labor of love for Zack Snyder. I have to believe this was cathartic for him. The studio gave him $70 million to finish the movie, but he didn't actually take a check for himself. So he's not making a profit off of this release. It's all going to Warner Brothers. And at the end, he dedicates the movie to his daughter. Thank you to Zack Snyder. Thank you to Warner Brothers and AT&T for listening and releasing this movie. It needed to be seen, and I am so thankful that I've seen this. I cannot give this movie enough praise. Everyone should watch this movie. It's fantastic. I cannot wait till the physical release, because I will say this: it's presented in Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, but HBO Max has a real problem with the compression on their audio mix. It just doesn't get the same push. Like, even with, if you're watching something in iTunes or Amazon Prime or on Netflix, you can bump up the volume, the levels, and you don't have to turn your system all the way up. With HBO Max, any movie that I've watched on HBO Max, I'm cranking my system much louder than I normally have to crank it, and I'm still, I'm not reaching ear-bleeding volumes. So I'm very much looking forward to getting the physical release of this movie so I can re-experience the audio as uncompressed as I can. So for this movie, I could nitpick some things if I wanted to, but why? This was just beautiful. Go watch this fucking movie. That's all I gotta say. The streaming quality, the video looked great. I didn't see any major compression. The darks were really good. There wasn't any screen crush. The audio, HBO Max struggles in that area. But I knew that going in. So I'm looking forward to getting the physical release. Go watch this now. Stop watching me. Click like first and subscribe. But go watch this movie and then push for them to restore the Snyderverse. Thank you, everyone. Take care.